Hello, everyone. I've got Adrian, who is the founder and CEO of PointOne. I will take the opportunity to allow Adrian to briefly introduce himself and what PointOne does.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Adrian. I'm the co-founder and CEO of PointOne. Started out life as a corporate lawyer at Fenwick and West, and I was terrible at tracking my time in that role. I was the chronically delinquent associate being chased by the billing team. So we started PointOne to completely automate time entry and make that problem go away. So PointOne uses AI to figure out what you're doing on your computer and mobile phone, and then automatically generate high quality time entries passively in the background that comply with all of the firm billing guidelines.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Adrian. And can you please tell us what differentiates PointOne compared to some of the other competitors on the market, and how do you seem to be consistently winning over new customers over the past year? I've been seeing quite a few exciting companies that seem to be choosing PointOne other than some of the competing solutions on the market.
Two main ways that I think about differentiation. One, we have, I think, the most automated and seamless product on the market. And so what that means is a lot of the other products on the market require the lawyers to take the output, kind of craft them and use that to make their time entries. We go all the way to producing the time entries, and the time entries actually look like something that what a lawyer would draft. So they're in the lawyer's own voice. They meet all of the firm's billing guidelines, and after a quick check, they're pretty much ready to go. So I think we're the most automated product on the market. The other main way that we think about differentiation is in how we leverage the data that we're collecting. The thesis of the company is that time data is this gold mine that firms are sitting on top of, and they're really not making much use of it today. If you think about all the data that's in the firm's possession, really the document management system and the time and billing system are the two largest repositories of information that could be used for things like firm intelligence and a bunch of other functions. What we're trying to do is unlock that time and billing data, which is just sitting there unstructured, not in a useful format. And so we do that by collecting higher quality, more granular data at the point of entry. And then we allow firms to slice and dice that and use it for business intelligence, use it for better predictive pricing, use it for workforce management, and a bunch of other things going into the future.
And are you able to share with us some of your more notable customer success stories from the past year?
Yeah, so we basically work with firms from the smallest, single person shop up to our largest customers are in the AmLaw 50. And so we've been trying to sort of figure out what drives success for these firms. The most obvious initial point is we just need to get a timekeeper that works great, that works in sort of a hands-off manner and allows people to easily get time entries back out. And so we've been iterating with our customers to hit all the different edge cases that, all the random applications that they might want to track time from, all the different sort of output formats, whether that's different codes, different guidelines, different billing rules, and making sure that the product is working seamlessly for that. And then we're now collaborating with big firms, say roughly AmLaw 200, to build, kind of co-build some of those features that I was just talking about. So working with them to co-build business intelligence products, to co-build pricing products, and really kind of give firms this intelligence layer that allows them to effectively transition from the old business model of law firms, kind of pre-AI into this new AI era, and kind of help to bridge the gap there.
It's very interesting that you're covering quite a wide spectrum of firms in terms of sizing. Is that because it's relatively quick and easy to start using the solution internally for those firms?
For small firms, the onboarding process takes about 15 minutes. We have out-of-the-box integrations, and it's ready to go. And we really put a lot of development effort into making sure that it would be easy to just pick up and start using for small firms. And so for that reason, we have quite a few SMB customers who were able to get up and running, same day effectively. At the end of the day, tracking time is not that different if you're a solo practitioner or you're a AmLaw 100 partner. You're still kind of doing the same types of tasks. Now, all the other things that build around that, so the suite of integrations, the other product features, that stuff can all vary. And of course, at the large firms, it looks quite different than at the small firms. And so we balance those two things, but we don't think there's any reason why we can't serve both segments of the market.
One other thing that you touched on just now, which really intrigued me, is how firms are billing in this new AI world. Do you feel and do you see PointOne being integral in terms of how people will be shaping and organizing their billing moving forward, which will not probably just account for time. It will be far more complex than ever.
Of course, yeah, law firms are in a fairly challenging moment right now. They are trying to adapt their businesses from pre-AI to post-AI. And of course, there's all kinds of effects on the practice of law, but then the trickle-down effect from that is the actual business model and what does that look like? The industry today is still about 90% billable hour. There has been a lot of prognostication about the death of the billable hour. We're not really big believers in that. We think the billable hour will persist well into the future. But what we do think will happen is the total fee mix will likely shift. So we might go from 90% billable hour to 50% billable hour. There's a lot of projects that are just inherently unpredictable. And so it will continue to make sense to do that on the billable hour. And also clients often actually want the billable hour still. And so that will continue to persist for a large chunk of legal work. But then there probably is a pretty big chunk of work that is better suited to fixed fees or capped fees or subscription fees or some combination thereof. And so the challenge that law firms are facing right now is, one, we really don't have a good sense for which things should be on which one. Two, we actually don't really have a great understanding of what people are actually doing all day within the law firm. We know they're working on a certain matter, but what are they actually doing in that matter? Are they sending emails? Are they doing diligence? Are they on calls? We don't have a great sense for that because it's not being tracked appropriately because people are having to do it manually. And so ultimately, firms don't have really the data foundation that they need to make those decisions in terms of, where do we apply innovation resources? Where are the bottlenecks in our existing processes? If we do want to experiment with fixed fees or other kinds of AFAs, what are the best candidates? Which types of matters should we try to move to fixed fees? And if we do that, how do we actually price those matters? And how do we make sure that we're pricing them at the right level so that we're not losing money, but also so that we're competitive in the market and we're not losing business to our competitors? And so this is kind of a suite of questions that law firms, particularly big firms, but really all firms are having to wrangle with right now. And so essentially our positioning is trying to be that intelligence layer that helps the firms to make those decisions more effectively and to transition from sort of the old world into the new world.
I've been part of the legal world for over 10 years, and there has been an increasing demand for transparency from in-house legal teams and customers in general as to how their law firm is billing them. And I think more so that has been if not a requirement, certainly a desired feature by many. Do you see PointOne being an enabler to better transparency between law firms and in-house legal teams?
It's definitely something that we're hoping to see more of in the future. Ultimately, we kind of serve the law firms, and so we want to enable them to have whatever relationship with their clients that best suits them and that relationship. And so when we work with a firm who says, our clients are wanting more transparency and we'd like to provide that to them, then PointOne is a great opportunity to do that because, if there are ever any billing disputes, well, these things were auto-generated. We can go back and look at the records and we can kind of set that straight. On the other hand, some firms are saying, look, we maybe are billing more based on value. Maybe we're not trying to adhere to every minute, and that's not really how we want to run our client relationships. In that case, PointOne kind of serves a different function for those firms. So ultimately, we kind of want to work with the firms to facilitate whatever relationship they're hoping to have.
Fantastic. Can you tell our viewers and listeners what are the one or two exciting features that really delighted your users in the past year?
One of the ones that's been the most surprising to me is the retroactive function. So when we first started building this, our thinking was you sit down, you turn it on, you go about your day, and then when you're done your day, we spit out the time entries. At some point along the line, some people asked us, hey, what if I could do this in the past? Like, what if I haven't done my time entries for last week? And so we thought about that, and it's a very similar product, but instead of doing it live, we're going to actually go back and pull out, your emails, your calendar events, all the things that you did last week or even last month, or even last year. We've had clients on contingency who had tracked zero time for an entire matter and went back and generated their time entries with it. And this has, I think, turned into our most popular mode, which maybe I should have expected that people who are looking for automated time tracking might be a little bit delinquent on their entries, like I was. But that's been surprising in a good way for us.
And since you're on features, can you tell our listeners of an updates and features coming up in 2025 that you personally feel really excited about?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the stuff that we talked about already in terms of sort of where we're extending the product is the stuff that I'm personally getting the most excited about. So, if you think about a time entry and what goes into it, the ultimate output is sort of a description of a task. But going into that might be a bunch of different activities, right? There might be emails, there might be web browsing, there might be documents, there might be calls. And so, kind of going back up to the source and then taking that information and using it to generate higher fidelity pricing estimates is something that we're really excited about. We have firms that we're working with in the AmLaw 200 who are trying to move components of their practices onto fixed fees. One firm, for instance, has a heavy IP practice. They want to try to move a large portion of their IP onto fixed fees. But they have neither the data nor the tooling to properly understand how much each thing is going to cost. And if you don't track time and kind of use that data to inform the estimates, then you could end up losing money on matters, or you really have no understanding of what your cost of goods sold or your margins are. Another firm that we're working with is trying to do the same thing, but for mid-market M&A. And so working on these specific sort of areas with some of our customers in this kind of co-build motion, and then over time expanding that across the entire practice of law. So everything from, tax law to IP, et cetera, and then offering that across our entire customer base is something that I'm personally very excited about.
And speaking of Future Lawyer, where you'll be participating and presenting, can you tell our viewers who are the personas that should walk up to you and engage you at the conference? Who are you looking to connect with during the conference?
If you are a lawyer who loves tracking your time and it's your favorite part of the day, don't come talk to me. I don't think there's very many of those. So if you hate tracking your time or you hate reviewing pre-bills, come talk to me about that. If you're an innovation person who's looking for a better data foundation to help you transition from the old world into the AI world, come talk to me. And if you're a operations or finance or administrative professional in a law firm who's thinking about how to make things more efficient, reduce the amount of manual admin work, and improve your profitability, come talk to me.
For everyone listening or watching this, Adrian will be with us between the 1st and the 4th of April in London, presenting on day one, our law firm day. If you are coming to Future Lawyer, please make sure that you connect with Adrian. And for anyone that might not be coming to the event, he'll be tagged in this post. Connect with him on LinkedIn and explore how PointOne can help you with this very, very common, but also very boring task of timekeeping. Thank you, Adrian.
Thanks so much, Timo.